Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from Learn All About Property. My name is Roy, and in this video I'm just going to share with you what actually the term lath and plaster actually means. I was on site recently and ironically somebody rang me while I was in this property and asked me what lath and plaster was, because they obviously didn't know. Now, over the years, as we know, we've advanced so much in the construction industry that we use different techniques for different applications. And there's, in many instances, there's no right or wrong in the application that we may use, as long as we're using it for the correct application. So there are lots of different solutions, lots of different ways of doing things. And I read sometimes on forums and Facebook and other videos of people criticize other people for using different materials for different aspects of their construction project. The thing is, when you think back or look back at the way we used to do things in the old days, well before my time and your time, going back hundreds of years, maybe even 1,000 years or so, things of the way they did things in those days lasted a long time. Nowadays, I tend to find that the way we do things, particularly in new builds, it doesn't last as long. And it makes you wonder, whether or not we are doing the right thing. But it could all well be because everybody needs to make money. It's like, they don't make cars to last forever, because if they did, nobody would buy new cars. So there's madness in the way, we think and manufacturers think, I suppose, to a certain extent. Anyway, have a look at this video where I show, what lath and plaster is and some tips and tricks, and then after that we'll come back and have another little chat. See you in a minute. Hi everyone, it's Roy again. Lindsay's here, my business partner as well. Just another quick video and some tips for you. We're in one of the properties that we're actually renovating, converting into flats. And it's quite funny actually, because about half hour ago, somebody was on the phone to me and said, Roy, what is lath and plaster? I don't understand what lath and plaster is. Okay, lath and plaster is a term that is used, is used in regards to older properties in particular. Whereby years ago they didn't have plasterboards. So what they used to do is they used to use very small pieces of lath, such as this, look. Can you see? Okay. Very small pieces of timber. And they used to actually nail them all over the ceilings and the walls, stud walls. And then what they used to do, just like if you think back to what the natives used to do in Africa, for example, when they built mud huts, they used to line the walls and the roof with straw, and they used to fill it with mud, didn't they? Well, a similar concept really, because in the old days they used to use little strips of timber like this, or laths, nail them to all the joists or the walls, and then they used to plaster in between them. So as you can see in this example here, you've got old mortar, the old type fashion plaster. Okay, so that is called lath and plaster. The old mortar here is called old mortar. So some people, they say, well, what's old mortar? Well, that's what it is really. It's just the plaster cum cement, whatever mix, okay? Now then, another good thing, another thing that you find in the old days is they didn't just lath and plaster the stud walls. What they used to do as well is this. They used to put up the stud work like you do today, timber stud work for the walls, and then they used to put bricks in the middle like this. Can you see? Now the bricks aren't, that one's supposed to happen. Okay, look, let me show you. So instead of the bricks going on flat like that, they used to lay them on edge like that, okay? And you'll find a lot of that in the older houses. Now, upstairs in these type of properties, can you imagine the weight of these bricks on the floor? The joists and the floors below, very heavy indeed. And this is one of the biggest reasons why on the ground floor a lot of ceilings bow, is because the weight of those bricks over the years has taken its toll on the joists below. Now, a lot of people think, well, it's it's a retaining wall. It's holding the roof up, but very often it's not. So one of the things that we tend to do when we come across older properties is that when you try to remove the plaster, to replaster, all of these bricks, they come loose, which means you end up having to replace all of the stud work for new. And that generally tends to upset a lot of people because they didn't realize. And when you obviously view a property, an older property, and you come in, you're looking at the old plastered walls, you think, oh, these are solid walls, whereas inside, look, they're actually stud walls with the bricks in between. So there's a lot of work in removing that type of thing, as you can imagine. The only good thing is when you do, you can imagine the house says, oh, that's a lot of weight off my mind, because obviously you're removing the bricks and you're reducing the weight load on the joists, the 4 joists below. Now, another thing that happens over the years with these type of walls, stud walls, if you look at this doorway, hopefully you can see, I don't know if you can see it quite so well there, if I can exaggerate maybe, I don't know, but the weight of those bricks on the door frame has obviously caused it to bow. Another reason why you see that in older houses, age has taken its toll. So yeah, you very often will end up having to remove all of these walls, like we're going to have to. And if you didn't expect that when you buy or looked at a property and bought it originally, it's a lot of extra cost to obviously then incur. The good thing is, to knock them down is relatively easy. You can virtually push them down once you start. It does mean you're going to have an extra skip or two, and then obviously you're going to have to restud it, insulate it, plasterboard it, and so on and so on. But again, can you see there's a big crack there and there above this doorway? So to me, hopefully, you would have been able to see that possibly when you were viewing the house for the first time. Maybe not if it was covered up in wallpaper, but that's the classic example of obviously the weight of those bricks forcing itself on the door frame and obviously causing the doors to then warp and bow. Now, a lot of people, believe it or not, they would leave it like that and they would just get new doors to fit in. And very often when you do, it's a carpenter's worst nightmare. And I tell you why, because you've got a sloping door frame that's not square, it's not set properly, and they have to cut the door all wonky to get it to fit. Not good practice really, but it is a good way of saving money, I suppose. But for me, I like to do things perfectly, so we would remove all of that, remove the door frame, and replace it all for new. Look, I've got a spectator. Let me show you. Oh, look. Hello. Come to view, have you? Yeah, anyway, so there's my audience on making this video today. Maybe it's because his nest is for there, I don't know, but oh, bless him. Anyway, hope this has been a little bit useful for you. And again, if it has, and you'd like more videos like this, please subscribe to this channel, give us a thumbs up, and we'd be more than happy to send you more tips and advice on how to refurbish properties so that you can make money, because that's what it's about. So yeah, whenever you go to view a property, just remember the stud walls may mean that you're going to have to end up replacing some of them. And often in the older properties, wallpaper holds so much of the internal of that property together. I'll show you how in another video, but for now, until next time, ciao for now. So there you have it. What do you think? If you've got any comments, by all means, put them in the comment box below. Give us a like on the video and subscribe to this channel as well. That'd be great to hear from you, and so we can send you more videos. But look, as you saw from that video, Lath and Plaster was a fantastic way of finishing. And to be honest with you, in some countries, they actually still use that type of method of plastering walls. Now, I've seen it so many times whereby investors or people who are looking to make money or even just refurbish a house, they'll go into an old house, the walls are existing lath and plaster. There'll be lots of maybe little hairline cracks where, there's been movement over the years. And what they'll do is they'll plaster over the existing lath and plaster. Now, in some cases, that's okay to do, as long as you use the correct bonding agent to be able to plaster over existing lath and plaster. But for me, there's a word of warning, because what you'll generally find is that when you do so within a short space of time, particularly after things dry out and you've got the central heating on and then switched off, you've got expansion and contraction. What I tend to find is in old walls, particularly stud lath and plaster walls, when you plaster over them, any slight moving will make the new plaster crack. So be very, very careful what you do. My advice is generally, or what I tend to do is, if it's a lath and plaster wall, I will actually remove it and replace it with new plasterboards. Now, the old mortar on solid walls, that's the external walls of a house, that isn't lath and plaster, but it's still the old mortar technique that they've applied to it. Now, if that is solid, so it hasn't blown, there's no hollowness or anything, yes, by applying a good bonding agent like grip bond or something like that, then you can plaster over those walls. But again, that particular substrate has to be perfect, not hollow and moving and so on and so on. So lots of different things to think about in any project, any investment or any refurbishment project. Lots of things to think about. Think about, think about what's going to save you money long term. Because if you're going to simply plaster over lath and plaster walls, internal walls, and then you're going to rent the property, I bet you, right, within 12 months you're going to end up going back there and having to fill in cracks, redecorate, and so on and so on. So I know pennies make pounds, but you need to think long term. So don't cut corners, okay? It's not worth it in the long run. I understand and I get it. We've all got a budget to work to, but it is important if you're invested in property that you invest in it for the long term as well, regardless of what strategy you're going down. Anyway, so I'm rambling on a little bit again, so hope you liked this video. Give us a like, subscribe, and we'll send you lots more tips and advice and help you along your property journey. So until next time, and from everyone here at Learn All About Property, I'll see you on the next video. Ciao for now.